Witchfinder. There's an uneasy feeling that runs through our village tonight. Figures on corners talking in hushed voices lit by twilight. Secrets being whispered in alleys and doorways. A stealthy movement of feet in the byways. The feeling that nobody wants to be seen. Faces covered by cloaks. What can it all mean? The sound of horses galloping along the road to the inn, nearer and nearer, louder and louder. They say it's a sin. I hear the words whispered in a porch to my right, then footsteps hastening into the night, dust from flying hooves as they come to a rest, faces set firm as they set out on their quest. In the alehouse the clatter of voices has faded swiftly away, laughter has vanished, flushed faces have turned grey. Lamps turn down in houses, faces peer through the gloom. Behind dusty glass panes there's not a sound in the room. The dog by the fireside stirs in its sleep, looks at his mistress, her face white as a sheet. The cattle in the byre stop chewing and are restless on hoof. A black cat carefully treads its way over the thatch of the roof. In the field outside the steady hiss from some geese. A widow shivers in her bed, no warmth from her fleece. You can sense that the air has turned cold and damp. Strangers whose presence has doused every lamp. Strangers who swagger in leather boots, tall and thin. Cloaked figures with a purpose, their leader looks grim. A call out to the landlord to serve them fresh ale. Whilst all around them the faces are pale. It's the Witchfinder General with King James' curse. A Bible in hand, but death in his purse. When the morning breaks slowly, with dark clouds in the skies, the priest by the church dressed in black robes waits for folks to arise. His arm weighed down by the papers he's kept for this day, evidence from informers who have all had their say. Hatred that has festered in a village divided, confessions and guilt will soon be decided. They have woken the village constable and seek his assistance. As they hammer on doors, they expect some resistance. Each family awaits the dreaded knock on the door. Children crying, there's fear, that's for sure. There is no escaping, each village is the same. Shelter will cease if they once hear your name. From inside Rowan cottage the morning air filled with her screaming, pulled out by her hair, face dragged beneath, mouth all bleeding. Pointing his finger, the priest marks her out. She is calling to Satan, I hear the priest shout. Drag down to the jail, where they'll kindle and bind Katie's arms. Hold her aloft until she tells of her charms. Deep in the dungeon the instruments have been made ready. She is stripped of her clothes, 4 men hold her steady. Confess to me now, tell me other names. The Witchfinder answers, his eyes like red flames. Leather straps whistle and bite into her skin. Her buttocks aroar, she sees the men grin. No reason is given for why she was taken and brought to this place. She can think of no person who would bring her disgrace. Her silence brings anger. Irons in charcoal are heated till white. She shakes and trembles and screams out with fright. Stench of scorched flesh stinks through the cell. But what can she say if there's nothing to tell? Her tortured body they drag outside to where the wood is piled high. To the stake she is bound tight and lifted to the sky. The agony of her last screams she cannot suppress. There, pronounced the priest, I heard her confess. In the next village that evening there's unease at the news that another witch died, and they listen for the hooves.